Hi everybody.
Hello.
Welcome to this week's episode of
SeeYaReelSoon. This is a little bit different for us though.
A lot of it different.
Today we're introducing a new series of vlogs to you, something that we've never shared before.
It's old.
Yes, it's from
Throwback.
May 2016 when we went to
The Redwoods forest in California, San Francisco, and a bunch of California.
So Northern California trip we took back in May of 2016.
And why are we sharing it now?
I don't really know.
One, we don't have any Disney vlogs. That's not the real reason. I guess
even before, because no, we wanted to share this even before everything happened.
Right.
We started editing them. But it was just that enough time had passed, I guess, and we were watching them. We're like, these are actually really fun and cute, and we really loved reliving them. So we're like, maybe someone else would like to see them too.
Yeah. And so what are they like?
Yes. So it's funny that they were never intended to see the light of day on SeeYaReelSoon, but it actually kind of has a similar feel.
Yeah, we never intended to air these on SeeYaReelSoon, but it does seem very similar.
Because I think we'd been vlogging for a few years at that point. We actually really liked the way we did that. We really started to enjoy filming what we were doing and sharing those moments and remembering them. And so we just did that similar style when we decided to film this trip.
Yeah, so it'll have a very similar feel. But instead of going on Splash Mountain, we're in the Redwood Forest.
Going on Zigzag 1.
Or Zigzag 2.
So the point of this video then is to introduce that series, kind of give you a little bit of a background, talk about what you're going to see, and then also give you some of our tips and tricks that we learned along the way, and things that maybe you can keep in mind if this is something you want to do.
Highly recommend, 10 out of 10.
Yes!
One of the other reasons I wanted to share this is, I know we've loved going to Disney. Before Lee, this still might be our favorite vacation we ever took.
Really?
Like pre-Lee. And Dennis, obviously, but Dennis hasn't been on vacation.
All right,
but yeah,
that's true.
This was one of my favorite vacations, if not my most favorite vacation. Maybe our first Disney trip.
Yeah.
But
I know
it was so much fun. It was an amazing trip, and we want to show you why.
And we found from our videos that people that weren't so sure about Disney fell in love through. Oops, something on my.
Make a wish.
Woo!
It's not gonna come true. Really not gonna come true.
Something that we found was people that we knew that weren't so sure about Disney actually kind of fell in love with Disney through seeing us experience Disney. So we were thinking maybe people would get a better idea of what Northern California and hiking the Redwoods or even just any type of national park is like, and think maybe I want to do that, because we want to share this with the world. We want, well, we don't want everyone to go to the Redwoods, please, not all at once. Because that's one thing we liked about it. But
yeah, we'll get to that.
well, let's get into it then. Let's walk step by step a little bit through.
Step by step, day by day. I don't know the next lyrics. Fresh start over, different every way.
I know, different every way.
Yeah.
People.
We'll make it better the second time around.
I didn't really watch that show.
Yeah,
Did
that
you?
was, I loved that show.
I used to
It was
see
on
like reruns, yeah.
TGIF.
Was it?
Yes.
Oh, I think that was past my TGF time. I was more, was it?
I was in my TGIF time, so it must have been before your TGIF.
That's what I mean, like just by a couple years.
Oh, so it was before yours, not past.
Oh, yes, I meant
okay.
that. Sorry. I meant it already had passed by the time I start watching. All right, so let's go kind of day by day a little bit to tell you what you can look forward to on our vlog series.
Starting this Wednesday, we will be sharing our day in San Francisco. So we had to fly into San Francisco because the place we were going in California is this little village called Trinidad. And Trinidad does not have an airport near it that you can really fly into except for Eureka Airport, but that's like really small planes, and we didn't want to do that. So
and it was just a good excuse to go to San Francisco.
Exactly. So we flew into San Francisco and spent the first day in San Francisco. We did things like go to a farmer's market, ride the trolley. One of our favorite things from San Francisco, though, was Lombard Street, which, if you aren't familiar with Lombard Street, is the crookedest street in the world. Think about like just like in a very short period of time where like you're just, you know, it was pretty crazy. So that'll be a cool thing to share with you guys. And then there's a bunch of other fun things we did when we were in San Francisco.
I will say, out of all the vlogs, I really enjoyed that one, but it felt the rustiest. I felt like we were getting back into the swing of things.
Yes.
Did you feel that way?
Yes, and also we used our cell phones to film all that footage.
Right.
So we did not want to bring our camera all around the city of San Francisco. So we filmed all of it on cell phones, and I was not really in vlog format.
Right.
It was more just us filming ourselves for our own kind of memories in San Francisco.
But again, it's still a really fun one to see, and you'll see some really good spots.
Especially if you've never been to San Francisco or are planning to go to San Francisco.
Yeah, but that'll be the first one. And then from there...
Next Wednesday, we will be traveling up the Redwood.
Yes.
Traveling up the Redwoods.
No, right. I'm
Next
just like, yes. Clearly I'm listening.
Next Wednesday, we will be traveling up the California coast.
Yes.
Over 300 miles on, I think it's California 1.
Yes.
To Route 101, US 1 to US 101 or California 101, whatever. 300-mile drive. We stopped at some cool sites along the way to see the ocean, but our favorite stop along that drive was a place called Glass Beach in Fort Bragg, North Carolina. Fort Bragg, California. Not the popular Fort Bragg, a littler known Fort Bragg. But Glass Beach was, I don't know if we really get into it as much in the video, so what's the cool thing about Glass Beach was it was a town dump for many, many, many years. So what people would do...
Which is not so cool, but...
Right, but they would back up to the edge of the ocean, and there was like a cliff there, and they would just dump all their trash down, like everything, like sofas, glass, cars, everything. And then in like probably the 70s, during like, I don't know if this is true, the 70s, it sometime happened though, that they started cleaning up the beach and realizing this was a problem, that they just had all this trash on their beach. So they cleaned it up. The problem was some of the trash had then become part of the beach. Like there was like hubcaps like that were like inside like the beach now.
Right.
Because like you got to think these waves come crashing in. For decades they just crashed into all this trash. But the other thing it did was shatter all of the glass on the beach and smooth it out. So it's just like, imagine you just take hundreds and thousands of glass bottles, and smash them on the ground, but they're not sharp. And you can just walk all over it. That's what the beach was like. It was pretty cool.
It was cool, but it was also sad, again, seeing a little bit of the trash, but also that people around the area were saying that Etsy and things like that had kind of ruined the beach, because you could see it. Everyone was just like piling up and grabbing. Like we were just looking at them and everything, but people were like...
People were bringing home like buckets of glass.
Of it, which is like, at some point, then it is gonna run out.
There'll be no more glass.
Yeah, so that was the sad part, but yeah, that was lots of fun. We really liked that road trip. I was nervous because it was a long...
300 miles.
Driven that long, but we had a blast.
Yeah, we got SiriusXM in our car, our rental car. We paid extra so that we could jam out to like music on the way up, because we didn't know what we were gonna find in terms of signals, services, which we did not have cell phone service for a lot of that drive.
Yes.
But we had brought a GPS with us that actually kept service, so that was very useful.
And it's just fun. It's like people sometimes say, I remember someone saying like they had some scent that always reminded them of a trip. They had used some specific like lotion that trip. I have that experience too. There was like a specific face moisturizer I had used when we went on our last trip to Disney, just the two of us, and every time I've used that since, I always think of that trip. Well, there were certain songs that were big hits at that time that every time we hear them now, we like imagine ourselves on the coast, or...
Cake by the Ocean.
Yeah, Cake by the Ocean, or This Is My House.
That by Flo Rida, and then the...
Pilot.
21 Pilots, Stressed Out.
Yes.
Those three songs were like the top 3 songs on SiriusXM Hits 1. And that's what we listened to the whole way up.
And if you know us, when we get a song stuck in our head, we tend to sing it for the rest of the trip, similar to that last Disney trip. So there might be some songs we sing all the time as we're hiking. And
it's kind of funny because we were listening on Memorial Day. We have a Echo in our house, and so we listened to SiriusXM on it. Hits 1, and over the Memorial Day weekend this year, they were playing all these hits from past years, and I felt like we kept hearing Cake by the Ocean over and over, and it just kept reminding me of this Redwoods trip. That's funny. So that was that day. The next 4 days, we spent hiking the Redwood Forest. But we should talk about where we stayed, I guess. We stayed in a little village, I think we said, called Trinidad. It had a population of like 311, something like that. we stayed in a very small cottage that we got on VRBO.
It was basically like one room.
It was a studio, yeah. So
Yeah.
like the bedroom was in, and I think we walked through it, but it's not till like the last video of our trip.
I know, I was thinking that too.
But it's like, it's the bedroom, the kitchen, and the
living room
are all the same
Kind of
like area.
Yep, and there's a little loft.
And the coolest part about it was there was a donkey and other animals.
That was my favorite though.
It was on a farm.
It was on a farm and they had a little garden.
Yeah, and it was only like 130 a night or something like that. It was so cool.
And I'm curious if it's...
I've looked, it's still reasonable.
Oh wow.
Yeah. It still exists on VRBO, and it was so cool. We'd start little fires every night because there was no heat in the house.
And every morning we'd say hello. They would be there waiting, and we bought carrots for them and treats. So.
And it was just cool going through like that little town in general. Like
we'd go to the grocery store every day.
Yeah, and everybody was so friendly, and the restaurants, and it was just really cool.
Yeah. It was definitely one of those trips again where I feel like a lot of the trips I've taken in the past where we've gone places, we do a lot of the touristy stuff. This one I really did feel a little, I know again, we were still doing a lot of the tourist things. Of course we were hiking, and that was our purpose, but even just going in the town, I felt a little bit more like a local and enjoyed that.
One of the reasons it wasn't as touristy is we did stay in Trinidad, which is about every day was about a 40 to 60 minute drive still to the Redwoods that we would hike.
I forgot that. I didn't feel like that.
We just had so much fun.
Right.
Every morning, like just driving, you were driving through like these cute little towns and like just seeing so much different than we're used to. So it was just really cool to see that. So it didn't feel like a long drive every day. And then at the end of the day, we were just so tired, it just felt like nice and relaxing being in the car.
One point I do want to make is that neither of us are professional hikers or even kind of close to it. We don't really hike at all.
Nope.
So all of these were incredibly achievable for us to do, really enjoyable, and just really, I don't know.
No, that's exactly, yeah. So one thing we did do was we did find these retractable sticks on Amazon that we brought, which I found helpful for each of us just to have one stick.
Right. I know, we were like, oh gosh, are we kind of like newbies by doing this? But
we saw people that had sticks.
Right.
The problem was we couldn't bring non-retractable ones in our luggage, or I didn't want to check them differently.
Or not even non-retractable, I just mean like just having them in general,
I know. But people had sticks.
But like we say about Disney,
you'll never see those people again.
Never see those people again. Do what you want to do. Exactly.
As long as it's not destroying anything.
So we found them helpful.
Yeah. We did do a bunch of different trails. The way we planned this trip that we wanted to kind of share with you was we did find this website called redwoodhikes.com. Redwoodhikes.com. I think it's just run by a single guy or solo guy, not single. I don't know if he's married or not. A solo guy who, what he does is he literally gives you, first of all, everything you need to know about hiking in the Redwoods, like everything.
Lifesaver.
Then on top of that, he breaks down every single trail in every region. So one thing to note about the Redwoods in California is they span, I think, hundreds of miles or hundreds of miles. They're very spread out. So what he does is he kind of breaks it down into each region, like Jedediah Smith Redwoods State Park, and this other state park, and this other state park. And he rates all the trails in there from 5 stars to 1 stars based off his own review of them, but also tells you the distance, the elevation, so you know if it's going to be a lot of up and down or just going to be somewhat flat. And then if you click on each one of those hikes, he gives you like paragraphs upon paragraphs of why the pros and cons of that hike, any backstory you'd want to know about why it exists and what you should look out for. And I thought that was so cool. So I did that before we went on our trip. So we planned our hikes according to what he deemed to be the 5 stars, 4 stars, or 3 stars in each of those areas. Like some of the area parks don't have any 5-star areas, so we went to the 3-star ones.
I do have a question. Did we go according to plan? Like
yes.
Like this is what we're gonna do Monday, and we ended up doing it. Like did weather interpret it?
I came up with like 6 potential days worth of hikes, and because like you got to remember, like some of these trails are only a couple of miles, so they didn't take that long to do. But so you would plan to do a couple in that area. So what I planned was like 5 or 6 days of trails. We want to quickly go over the trails that we did do, just so if you are interested in planning this or interested in looking into it, you at least know what we are going to see in these videos.
And so as for like, he even rates them, which is really interesting. We can't, I guess, speak too much to like because we only did these once, so we can't have anything else to compare them to. Like, okay.
But we'll tell you our favorites.
But we will tell you our favorites. And I will say that the way he described them were really good.
We're very accurate.
We're very accurate. So if you look at how he describes it, that's pretty much what you're gonna see.
The first trail we did was Prairie Creek. The first trail we did was Prairie Creek and Fern Ridge.
Yes.
In the Prairie Creek Redwood State Park, which was the best one to start on, I think.
Favorite, yeah.
It was flat, first of all.
Yeah, it was a good one, like you said, to start on, yeah.
Yep.
A nice introduction.
It was flat.
Right, for most of it.
So we had the option of doing it out and back, or doing this trail called Zigzag number 1 or 2 from Prairie Creek to Fern Ridge. You could do kind of like both trails. Zigzag 2, which we didn't understand, is a mountain. That is why it zigzags. Spoiler alert.
But also unexperienced.
Yes.
So for you, it might, if you were a little bit more of a hiker, you're like, okay guys, what are you talking about? But for
we
us,
were breathing heavy.
but still was
achievable.
enjoyable
Yes.
and achievable.
We had fun with it. But yeah, so that was fun. The trail itself was really cool. There was a lot of fun things to see, and it was our first real experience into like tall trees. Like the redwoods, for those who don't know, are the tallest living things on the planet Earth, I think, or the second tallest.
And I will say the one sad thing about these videos is that, well, it could be a good thing because you need to go out there to see them for yourselves, because the videos, as beautiful as they are, and I really think you'll enjoy them, doesn't do it justice. But
it does not. Like, although I do sometimes look in our backyard and I'm like, oh yeah, these trees are puny compared to those things when I see them in the video.
Yeah.
I mean, they're so thick, too.
Yeah.
Like, you could drive cars through them. But anyways, the next day, we did Fern Canyon. Pterodactyl Ashley. They filmed parts of Jurassic Park 2, I think, in Fern Canyon. It is really a sight to see. Not really a hike at all. There's no elevation. But what it did is, it's just like literally, like you walk through this, like, I want to say like a tunnel, where there's just like walls on either side of you. Yeah, it's like on either side of you are 60, 80, 100 foot walls.
Yeah, of just
and then
green.
it's just green all around you, ferns. And it's just a sight to see.
Yep. One thing I had mentioned that I enjoyed about the Redwoods was that it was so serene, and we really were on our own, which is a little terrifying because there was no cell service.
None at all.
And it's not like a park ranger goes out and is like, did everyone leave today?
When we did the first, but I think they checked to see if there's cars in the parking lot.
Oh.
But the first day that we did, the first trail we did, the first day, I think we only saw 2 people, and we were out there for all day long.
We were lucky that we did not see any animals, because that was a warning, was that there were some
We didn't see any animals,
huh?
huh?
Yeah, well, I meant, sorry, wild.
We didn't see any wild animals? No, like, elk? That nearly...
That's true. We were in the car, though. I'm talking about on foot.
Yeah. So that, you'll get that when you get that.
Yes. But yeah, we were.
I don't want to spoil that.
But I will say, out of all of them, Fern Canyon and Lady Bird were the 2 where we were like, oh wow, there is civilization here.
Fern Canyon was not somewhat busy. We saw probably 30 people, which was a lot
compared to
30 people.
Right.
Now the other thing I will say is we went in May, which is the very beginning of their hiking season, I think. It's on the cooler side. It was 50 to 60 degrees every day, like 50 in the morning, 60 in the afternoon. Drizzly, dreary, not really raining much.
We can't imagine any better weather. We loved it.
It was perfect for what we wanted to do.
Yeah.
I think that some trails may be more or less accessible during different times of the year, so if that's something that interests you, make sure you look that up.
Yeah.
Because one of the trails we went through, we would have had to cross water, so we did not do it.
Right.
The one trail that was somewhat unique was the Tall Trees Trail. And the reason that Tall Trees was unique was it's where the world's tallest trees live, which sounds like, okay, but they try to protect that, so they only let a certain number of people go there every day. I don't think that we ever would have, I mean, none of the trails we went on were busy. This was no busier or less or more busy. I think we still saw like 2 or 3 people, just like we did on every other trail pretty much. But you need to get a permit to access the Tall Trees Trail every day. And what they do when they give you a permit is give you a gate code. Those gate codes change every day. So the code you get is only valid for the day you get it. And then they only give it to like 30 people every day or something like that, so that the trails don't get too much use. So that was definitely a cool trail. It was different. All the trails we went to were different.
Yeah.
That was the cool thing.
Yeah, even like the Boy Scout one, not only was the Boy Scout tree cool, but remember we like saw that little Hakuna Matata area.
Right.
That's what we called it.
Yeah,
that was neat. They all, yeah.
The cool thing about the Tall Trees Trail that's different from all the other trails is we did walk out onto a river, and the river was pretty dry, so you could walk most of the riverbed, and therefore you could see the trees not from within them, so you could see the height of them a lot more, because when you're in the forest it's hard to see the top of the trees, but when you were more in the area where the river was, you could see that, you could really understand how massive these things are.
And what you just said reminded me of just the beauty of Northern California, in that there's just so much different landscape. On our fern day, we went on a beach. We're literally looking at the sea, and then you turn around and it's just trees and mountains.
Mountainous forest.
Which is just crazy for us here in New England to think of. We're just like, what?
Which we do have mountains. But
we do, but just to see both at the same time, and maybe there's in certain areas in New England you could, but it was just, it's just really interesting that the landscape every second just felt almost different. Not every second, but. So the other thing that's a little bit different is that we don't have too many exciting. We go to a couple restaurants, but not too much exciting foodie stuff.
No.
Right.
We did pack a lot of our lunches. We went to the local market, bought food, had the VRBO, so we were able to cook it. And then the other thing we did do is when we were in San Francisco, we went to the farmer's market and we bought a lot of fruits and vegetables to bring up with us to Northern California, so that was fun. One other thing we did on our last day there was we went to a beach. So that's something else we didn't really talk about. It wasn't really a beach, it was like all rocks, but it was called Patrick's Point State Park, which was, I think, a 1.5 minute drive from our house that we rented. Yeah, so that was pretty cool. There were like cliffs, and there was a wedding rock that we went up to, which was really cool. Yeah. It was terrible. If you are afraid of heights, there was a couple of scenes in that video that are a little like, whoa.
Oh, speaking of, because I'm like, oh, I don't quite remember that, because I haven't even actually watched the whole series myself, because this guy edited all of them.
Yes.
I did have a little bit of a touch. Mostly, again, it was him, but something you can look forward to at the end of each day, not every episode. So let's say we have a two-parter, or trail, possibly, I did like a picture kind of collage, because sometimes, again, there were things that we didn't capture on video, but we did capture really well in pictures, and that's really fun to see too.
Yeah, and I want to say that this trip was so much fun. We had so much fun, so it's not like just like us hiking through the woods. I don't want you to think it's just two people hiking through the woods. We didn't show that. We did film, I want to say, like 3 hours of footage every single day. Yeah. We narrowed it down significantly to the parts which were fun, interesting, or just awe-inspiring, breathtaking sights, stuff like that. We didn't just, it's not just us like walking quietly through the woods. If you want to see that, I'm sure there are plenty of videos out there for that. Too. But yeah, that's it.
I think so.
And then the last day we did drive 300 miles back down the California coast.
Although we didn't do US 1 the whole time. We did take some shortcuts.
We took the highway instead of the scenic road, just because we wanted to get back down to San Francisco for our flight the next morning. Yep. We had a lot of fun. A lot of fun. I just keep saying that. It was just a lot of fun.
It really was. And so we hope you enjoy these and maybe get some ideas yourselves. Even if it's not to go to the Redwoods, if it's just to explore your backyard a little bit more and just the world around you, there's certainly a lot out there to see. And now we've got the bug to see more as well as our kids continue to get older.
So if you've been to the Redwoods, please let us know what trails you did, if you remember. If you like them, which ones you didn't, because I think this is a place we will definitely be bringing our kids back to once they're old enough to enjoy it.
And just other national parks too.
Yes, if you've been to other national parks too, let us know which ones your favorites are. And if there's anything like important to know about them, because we definitely want to, do some more of that.
And if you have any questions, please comment them. As we said, this wasn't intended for a public audience, so we did try to share a lot of what we were doing and what we were learning, but we may have forgotten things here and there because we were just in the moment.
We were editing, there was a couple of things I was like, oh, we didn't show that.
Yeah, we didn't mention that, or so maybe we'll try to, if we feel like there's anything that is missing, we'll share that in the comments, in the description. If not, please don't hesitate to ask questions. We would love to share our knowledge, so we will be in the comments section with you.
And we saw Paul Bunyan and Babe the Blue Ox, like gigantic. They were huge. Just driving down the road one day, just a gigantic Paul Bunyan. So we had to stop and get a picture of that. But yeah, just wanted to say that too.
Yeah. One other thing that I want to say is one other thing that.
How many things?
I know, because you're always like, one more minute.
No, just because you said it so many times, it's 4 of them.
I know, but I was just thinking how you say that to me something.
Just one more, Mama, just one more. I won't touch it,
Last one.
Leslie, one more. And then you're like, no, Lee, you can't go touch the mailbox. I'll just look at it, I won't touch it. He's always negotiating. Yeah.
One other thing I wanted to mention was, as Joe said, he did a lot of research for this trip, and we had a binder, and it actually kind of became like a little bit of a joke. Other people that saw it were like, wow, you really like planned every moment, and can't you have like any like spontaneity, or you know, what, you took out all the fun of it. And what I want to say is that what I've learned in going on trips with Joe is that just because you're researching and you have a binder and you have a loose plan does not mean you're taking the spontaneity out of a trip or the fun out of it. It actually helps you relax more and be more spontaneous because you have researched beforehand. So as things come up and there is time and space, you go, hey, I remember this, let's go do that.
That's
example, Lombard Street.
Yes. Because we knew about that and we just happened to come across Lombard Street, so we didn't even plan on going there.
I never would have known that because again,
Ashley pointed it, it's a perfect example because Ashley pointed to a sign and goes, look, this says Lombard Street. And we were just walking around San Francisco. We had no plan. We were just walking.
I didn't even know, and I was just like, oh, I don't know. I didn't even say like, oh, as if it was interesting. I was just like, where are we? Lombard Street. And Joe was like, ding, 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 ding.
Yeah, I was like, there's like, so we walked up and we saw
because I did not see it. It was pretty far up, so I wouldn't have known. Yeah.
But the other thing I was going to say was, when I did do is I did print out all the trails in a certain area so that we had that book with us in the car every day. So when we get out of a trail, we go, do we want to go to another trail? Yes or no? And if we did, I said, well, these are the 2 that were most highly rated, so let's do one of these. And then, you know, do we want to do another trail? So like, it wasn't like we have to go here, we have to go here, we have to go here. Some days we were like, nah, I think the day we did Fern Canyon, right?
Yeah,
we had other ones we could have done that day, and we had other trails we could have done. We were like, no, we're good for today. We need a break after the first day. So we did that. And
the other thing, and that's a really good example of, as you said, was, as we said, in the Redwoods, there was no cell service. So if you were there and were like, ooh, what else can we do? Unless you can find a visitor center, you're out of luck. And that was the same thing with restaurants. Joe had looked up restaurants, had already looked at some of the reviews, and just had a list of them.
I had like a list of like 2 from like every area.
Right.
2 or 3, so that if we were in an area, we're like, okay, what are you in the mood for? These are the 3. Are you more in the mood for Chinese? Are you more in the mood for burgers? We did like a Hawaiian one time, right? Yeah, that was really cool. That was good. I never would have known that. Yeah, it was a little off the beaten path.
Right.
It was definitely cool.
So just wanted to give a little hat tip to this guy and any other ones that are big planners, because again, planning does not mean that you are strict and that there's no spontaneity. It just means that you're doing your research, your due diligence, so that you can have a great time. So we suggest you try to do that as well, if it works for you.
Yep. I think that's all we got.
That's all we got.
So we hope you enjoy this series of videos. We definitely enjoyed doing the home vlog last week, which was like, last week. Yeah. We definitely enjoyed doing the home vlog last week. I think you'll see more home videos from us coming up, probably after the Redwoods.
Yeah.
You know, the Redwoods should be fast. There's only, I want to say there's only like 9 videos, and I think we're going to try to do.
We're still planning to try to do Monday, Wednesday, other than this week and next week.
This week, this is Monday. Today's Monday.
Just kidding. So
I think I think there's 1 or 2 Mondays we're not going to do it, because one thing is that certain videos, certain days we only did 1 video, and certain days we did 2 videos. So on the days we only did one video, we're just gonna do one video that week. And on the days where we did 2 videos, we'll do 2 videos that week, so that it really, if it was a 6-day trip, there'll be just 6 weeks of videos. Some will be 2 weeks, some will be 2 a week, some will be 1 a week.
Maybe what we can try to do is, I know that YouTube, I don't know if you see it when you're on the app or anything, but there are stories, or if you follow us on Instagram or Twitter, if we are not posting that Monday, we'll let you know. So you don't have to look out for anything, and you know that we'll be back on Wednesday.
Yeah. So thanks for joining us.
I'm so excited.
Me too. Until next time.
See you real soon.